Welcome to this tutorial for Start Events. Today I'm going to show you our email tool. So you'll start by logging into your account. And then you're going to see all of your current and upcoming events. These ones here, of course, are all our fake demo events that we use for tutorials like this one. Today we're going to look at the Old Town Renaissance Fair. All right. So from the sidebar menu, you're going to go to messaging and then email attendees. And then you're going to start filtering down who you want your email to go to. So if you want it to go to participants, so people who have registered for your event, tickets, people who bought tickets for your event, sponsors, product orders. If you have volunteers or fundraising set up in our system, you'll see donors and volunteers in this dropdown as well. Today, I'm going to do tickets. All right. You're going to want to drill down even further into which which of your ticketed attendees you specifically want to email. So if you click recipients here, you can pick what years. Maybe you want to do a quick email blast to everyone who bought tickets last year so they can buy tickets for this year. You can drill down even further and have it be specifically, just who bought tickets on Sunday or however you want to do it. You can also drill down by section here. So general admission or left side or right side, or just however you have your sections set up here. You can even be that specific. Down below, you can exclude all current and future attendees. So this means that if someone has bought a ticket for this year or a future year, so if you had the next year set up, so in this case, 2027 set up, you could exclude people who bought tickets for 26 and 27 already, so they don't get this email at all. And then you can also send one email per ticket instead of one per email address. So it is default off because if you send one per ticket, someone bought 5 tickets, they're going to get 5 emails. Then that can be kind of annoying. And so it's default off. But if it's important that you need to send one email per ticket, then you can, of course, turn that on. Now up here, it says ticket status active. So this means that they bought tickets. If you want to send it to people who had incomplete orders, so they didn't finish their order and didn't end up buying tickets, you can do that as well. So now it's going to send to people who had incomplete ticket orders. And you can also drill down by event time and section in that case as well. And then there are additional filters here. So you can add scan time, or if you've added questions to your ticketing form, you'll also see those questions. So you can filter down by questions. So, there might be a case where your ticketed attendees for this year, if they answered yes to one of your questions, you might need it to send them more details in an email. Or if you added a question later to your form, you can send an email to everyone who bought their tickets before you had added that question if you need that question answered. All right. And then this example here, of course, is scanned. And then you have these options here. Okay. So we're going to go back to our active ticket status here. And you are just going to leave that as is. Once you're happy with your settings and how you've selected your audience for your email, go ahead and hit save. And then we already have our from address added here. But if you haven't sent an email through our system before, you're going to need to add one and then validate it. So just put in the email here, click validate, and then you'll get an email to that email to validate it. And then to go one step further, you can add the DKIM settings to your domain. If you have if I had an at Old Town and Renaissance Fair address instead of an at Gmail address, for example. All right, so I have just added an email to validate it. This blue box here, you want to click the verify link that comes to your email. And once you've clicked that verify link, then you'll want to click this button here to enable emailing from that email address. The second thing to consider here is verifying your domain. So, and it just helps get your emails delivered. So if you have a specified domain, so like owltenrenaissancefair.com instead of gmail.com, just go ahead and hit this verify my domain button, and then it'll give you the instructions you need to kind of walk through that process. Okay. So once you're set up to do email, this is where you can customize your message, your subject line. You can include emojis here. And then type out your message. Right. So you've got your spot to put your message here. You can update the font. You can bold it. All of that you need. You can add images, links. It's very robust here. If you click under advanced settings, you can have a custom sender name. So the sender name is what appears when you open your email box and the from. If you don't specify a sender name, it will just show your email address. So if I just wanted to say Old Town or Old Town Renaissance Fair, I could customize that there. I can also add custom preview text. The preview text is what appears right after the subject line when you first open your email inbox. So it's just a preview of the message. If you don't specify a custom preview text, then it's just going to take the first line of your email until it runs out of character space. I'm not going to customize my preview text in this example. And then the last thing that you can do with these toggles under advanced is you can personalize the email. So you can add these placeholders, and then it will replace that with the billing name tied to the email, that person's email address in their order. So if I wanted to start this with so I could just hit copy here and then paste that in. And then I'll show you what that looks like when I open the preview. Okay. The last thing under advanced are your email settings. So you can pick a background and a foreground color for your email. You'll see what that looks like when I show you the preview. You can also auto include your logo for your event. I've opted to do that already at the top. I may want it to be large, but you can customize where you want it. And then I've also opted to include sponsor logos. If you don't want to include your sponsor logos, you can just turn it off. But for now, I'll leave those on. I picked the medium size, and they'll always appear at the bottom of your email. And then you can also include social media icons at the bottom of your email as well. And then you'll put your mailing address. This is just required by law, but you can update what that address is here. Once you're happy with those settings, hit save. All right. And now our email is about ready to go. So I'm going to click send. You can always save it as a draft, or you can go ahead and hit preview and send, which is what I'm going to do. All right, so you can see that I've got my background color here, that's orange, and my foreground color, that's white. I've got my logo here. And then you'll see that my placeholder text is pulling in appropriately. It says Jane Doe. So that means that when people get this email, they're going to see their name, their billing name that they included with their order. And then I've got my message here. That looks good. I've got my social media link here, and then my sponsors as well. And then there is a spot at the bottom where people can manage their subscription. So if they want to unsubscribe, they can. That's also required. Okay. So, and you'll also see a recipient count here. Right now, it looks like I only have 2 recipients, but you'll want to just gauge. You want to look at this and gauge if that number looks right based on what you've selected for your recipients. And then you can send a test email, and that will go to your email address. You can send it now, you can schedule it later, or you can go back and make changes if you need to. All right, that is how you use our mass email tool. It's really great that it's integrated with our system, and you can kind of select all of your recipients so you can get emails out to everyone you need to. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Have a good one.